Hi, in this lesson we'll continue talking about Delta Lake features. Another important feature from Delta Lake is the ability for Delta Lake to merge the batch and streaming together into one. And this is really one of the, very exciting and very important feature of Delta. Because before that, whenever you have the data, you have a table, right? And you write this table from a batch source. And a batch data is data that arrive on a specific period. Let's say every 1 hour or every 1 day and so on. There is another type of data called streaming data. So this data is not really a periodic data, it's continuous. There is no interval. You just keep listening or keep monitoring a data source, and this data source will continuously flowing data to your Delta Lake. Typically, it could be Kafka as a source. And Kafka is there's a topic that you listen to from Kafka, and this topic someone will send a message every 1 second or every half a second and so on. So you're continuously receiving data. What Delta does is you no longer need to treat the two differently. And this is really so powerful from Delta. Delta merges the two together. So you don't need to have one specific table or one specific code or one specific, ways of dealing with streaming and batch. Delta can perfectly merge batch and streaming into one. So you can write to the same table from a batch source or from a streaming source. You can also stream from the Delta table. So you can use streaming the table itself as a stream. So continuously read writes to the table from a batch or from a stream, and then you can create another stream out of this table. So you have a unified stream that comes out of this table for all the changes that has been done in the table. We call this CDC for short, change data capture, or in Databricks terms, we call it CDF, change data feed, which is a feature of Delta as well. So you no longer need to think about this is a batch source, this is a streaming source anymore. All you need to think about is you're just reading data from a source, you keep inserting or appending the data in a Delta table. That's all you need to know. You don't have to consider code changes. You don't have to write one code for streaming, one code for batch, one code. This is really so powerful. You merge the both together. Once you did the data, you put the data in Delta, then you can read from this table using SQL, using data frames, using Python, using Scala. You can even stream the changes out of this table using CDC feature or CDF, in terms like how Databricks call it, CDF feature from Delta. And that's really so powerful in analytics because quite often you get data in different ways. You could get data as a batch, you could get a stream, and without Delta, people used to write tons of code in a batch to process a batch and tons of code to process the stream. You no longer need to do that. With Delta, you got both together into one. So that's it for this lesson, and see you in the next lesson.